So, on Endures and through the Endures framework, I talk a lot about vision and clarity. And today I'm honored to have a guest on the podcast who approaches vision and clarity from a very different angle to what I do, and something I'm really interested to find out more about. So, we are joined by Lynda, who is the psychic pinup. Thanks
Yes,
for joining me, Lynda. How are
thank
you?
you. I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Great. I'm so excited to hear about what you do. So, how does somebody become a psychic? How did you find yourself in this career?
Long story short, we are all born psychic. We all have these abilities. It's one of these things where we talk about acting and singing and dancing. We can all do it to some extent. Some are just a little bit more gifted or find it a little bit more easier than others. So I'll go down that path with the psychic realm of it. But getting into it, I got into it quite late in life, and it was a series of life-changing events for me before I pretty much woke up and realised that I was a psychic medium. I've only into my 8th year of it now.
You mentioned before as well how in that 8 years, because I think in a business sense, 8 years is quite long. Like I've had my clinical business for 9.5 years. It certainly seems long, but in the scheme of things with people that are psychics, I guess often people talk about, their mother passing something on, or people
Mm.
talk a lot about being in things for like 20, 30, 40 years. I I'm really interested in people working in their genius zones. And when you're doing something that you're meant to be doing, things flow to you. And you mentioned your business has gotten really busy, and
Mm.
but it feels energizing, it feels like fulfilling. Can you contrast maybe what you felt like in previous roles or previous things that you did where you weren't in that zone,
Mm.
where things weren't
Ah,
flowing? What type of things did you hate doing?
Look, I came from a corporate background with legal thrown in there, and then I had another career change as a photographer, and there was always this underlying thing inside that there was something more.
Yeah.
And I think what happens here also is that we get conditioned by society and our parents and what we should be doing, or uh, we tend to do a lot of things to please other people. And I think ultimately that's what I was doing, and I got caught in that trap of doing things for everybody else. But there became a point where I thought, no, I'll do me. And here we are today.
I love that. I think that's conditioned into our generation as well, and
Mm.
going down the legal route or something, it's
Mm.
it's the thing of people would go, well, that's a very tangible job.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, working in corporate and particularly in a legal sense, like there's all that risk and compliance and very like high C on a disc and systems and all that stuff. That just seems so different. Like I imagine that being a psychic, you've really got to put yourself into that different brain space, or be able to see the big picture. am i
Mm.
am i kind of on the right track?
Totally. Look, it's two different sides of the brain here.
Yeah.
Most of our life we're working with the logic side. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I've flitted over to the other side because I'm very creative. And I say to people, to be a good psychic, you really need to have a good imagination as well, because we are visualising a lot of things in our mind. So we are accessing other parts of our brain that we really aren't conditioned to be using. And I guess that runs in hand too when you do empowerment with people and teaching people how to believe in themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we spoke before about how
Yeah.
you're really about people, going and doing the work and
Yeah.
taking what you've told them, and empowering them to make big changes, which is it's really another form of coaching, right? And it's I think what I love actually about this era is for so long we've been told to niche and to go into one thing and to go into something that's really
Mm.
clear. But I feel like if we bring all the parts of ourselves to a role and our unique experiences, then we just attract the people that are meant to be around us. Is that, how do you feel like you attract clients?
I call it the tribe. You have to find your tribe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
and look, it's the same thing when we do readings for people too. The people who I am meant to be reading, the universe will make sure that they find their way to me. And you know the age-old saying, you know, if it's meant to go, it will flow. It's life in itself. If you keep hitting obstacles, brick roads, brick walls, maybe that's not the path that you're meant to be going down
yeah,
either.
yeah,
And the more people learn to trust and accept what is being thrown at them, accepting it instead of trying to resist it, and go with the flow and go, okay, thank you, universe, I hear you, move on. I think people would be surprised how easy things unfold for them.
yeah, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what is your, you mentioned people that, you know, really want to take things and run with them and run with the change. How do you know when somebody walks in the room, or do you have a way of, I'm sure you do have a way of
Straight
knowing,
away.
yeah, that they're actually going to go and implement this?
Look, when somebody walks into my room here, the energy, I either feel a very good energy and I think this is going to be a good reading, or others, I'm like, this is going to be like pulling teeth. And it does happen every day. It doesn't matter how experienced you are as a reader, you will always get thrown challenges with people. And we're dealing with different personalities every day. And yes, there are a lot of people who will sit opposite me and somehow expect me to feed them a magic pill to
Yeah,
fix all of their problems. Now, we all know that's not the case.
yeah.
I'm sure
And I think
you...
that's every profession, right? Actually, another friend of mine is a coach too, and she was speaking the other day about how she has had a couple of people that just keep repetitively canceling, rescheduling. And she's like, you know what? Ultimately, these people don't want coaching.
No,
They, yeah,
they're looking for the magic pill.
yeah,
We all know the magic pill just does not exist. We have to do the work.
yeah.
We know
This is
that.
probably a how long is a piece of string question. What
Yeah.
types of things have people tried before they come to you?
What types of things do they try?
Yeah, what have they tried in terms of, you know, making a change or a shift in their lives or getting the answers they're seeking?
Not much. They will go to a psychic.
Ah, ah,
I mean, I do have people that come through the door and they are in therapy. They do go and have their sessions, or they may go and do meditation or breath work. But for me, that's them starting to do the work. But more often than not, first port of call will be me.
that's
And it will be
interesting.
me saying you need to do X, Y, Z. I'm being shown A, B, C. And it's up to them whether they want to implement what I am showing or talking or guiding them with. Totally up to them. Free
Yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But what we do, and as a reader, and this is for anybody who is listening on this podcast, is please let's not make a habit of relying on psychics for your answers. We do not give you answers to everything. We will give you the information, and what you do with that information is entirely up to you. I have people coming back trying to come in every couple of months, and I will not read them. I'll say minimum 6 months, preferably 12 months before you come back and see me. Let's do the work.
and I guess the idea is then that they will have done a level of the work and
Hopefully.
they need to unlock that next step.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I will come back to you and you'll ask, so what have you done since I've last seen you? Nothing.
That's super funny. I remember years ago, probably when I was in my early 20s,
Yeah.
and I used to go to like tarot readings and whatever, right? We'd be on holidays or you'd be at some markets. I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to go here or I'm going to go there. And my friends called it the Psychic World Tour because, and I remember this one time in Bali, oh, probably about 9 years ago. Yeah, it would have been because I just set up the business. I was in Bali on a retreat and I went to one reading. I
Yeah.
didn't like what I heard. So then I went to somewhere else and I had the flower bath and it was all lovely. And,
Yeah.
you know, I got told I was going to have the happy ever after. And yeah, and it was all nonsense.
See?
But
This is what
Yeah.
they do. In our little world, we have sayings, and we have, the lingo that we all speak, and we call that the psychic junkie.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are real. They will go around to multiple readers to get the answer that they want to hear
Yeah.
and not actually face the reality. Which is sad. It really is sad. So I am quite blunt with people. I don't sugarcoat, but I do have a way of delivering. But it's finding a reader who will give you an honest answer, so you can work with it.
I mean, ultimately, we all have a finite amount of time and resources. So while it's all lovely to go for the flower bath and what you want to hear, it's probably not going to move you forwards in life.
Look, I deal with people going through relationship breakups, marriage breakdowns, custody battles with children. Even I work with addicts as well, or recovering addicts. I see a lot of, crime. Unfortunately, also I work with people, abuse victims. I work with all sorts.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that if people are the psychic junkies, they've got a number of different reasons for why they might want to be. I have always been someone that has found it interesting. I think now as I get older, I go to, whether it's, a tarot reading or coaching or whatever I might do in my life, I obviously go to it with more of a, hang on, I need to take action on this. I need to play above the line. But when I was younger, it was always just that interest and that big picture thinking, and, oh, what are they going to tell me? The possibility. But I imagine there's a lot of other people that might maybe feel a bit of fear around going to see a psychic, or, have some misconceptions. Are there common sort of misconceptions or fears that you see?
There is. The biggest misconception is that we can read your mind. And that is not the case. The biggest misconception is we can give you the lotto numbers.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think you just keep them for yourself, right?
Well, that's what I say to people. If I got them, do you really think I would tell you? No.
Yeah.
No. But look, honestly, I say to everybody that deep down we all have this knowing in us anyway. And I think a lot of the times when you go to a reader, they are just confirming what you already know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's certainly been
know.
my
and
experience.
Half the time people are in denial anyway.
Oh,
do we just cut
we just
out
lost you for a second, but you're back.
No, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah.
That has been my experience with whether it's been coaching or psychics, or often, we have the answers within us and we need to go and take action on those. So can you talk me through what a typical session might, it's probably no such thing as a typical session, but what a session might look like?
I never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Every single day is different. But look, typically a reading will consist of me sitting with somebody for about half an hour, and I can, depending on what's happening, because I am at the mercy of spirit world here, and we could do a full-on psychic reading, which is about the person, their energy, what is going on in their life, past, present, possible future. I'm always quite specific about that. The people around them, connected to them as well. So anything that's going on in their life. Or I could all of a sudden flip over into mediumship, which is something a little bit different again, and that is communicating with our loved ones on the other side. Some people may come to me just purely for mediumship, to connect with their mum or their dad. Others come in for a mix here, mediumship and psychic. Some just want to come in and know whether their husband's cheating on them, So you just never know. You just never know.
Do you need to protect your own energy in between sessions, or do you need to find ways to reset yourself, or are you quite How do you do that, or is that something that just comes naturally to you?
It comes naturally now. When I first started out, I thought I had to do all this heebie-jeebie woo-woo rituals, this, do that, but now I'm just come in, sit down, switch on. I'm good to go. And it's the same thing when I finish every night. I literally just say I'm finished, down, shut down. That's it. Day's over. See you later. Nobody contact me. That's it. And back in our world, human.
It's
human
good
world.
boundaries like you would have in any workplace. Like I feel like it's similar in a way to healthcare. You can take on all of people's stuff and, bleed out all over the place, or you can see it as something I tell my team is you're responsible to people, but not for them. So
Yes. Yeah, that too. And you've got to keep, for me, wearing energy. And I guess it's with anybody that works in close vicinity with people. When we talk about nurses and like hairdressers, beauticians, physio, working closely with people, you are actually absorbing their energy. You are blending energies here. So more often than not, without you realising it, you are picking up their emotions. When you are working with them, you're probably getting really random stuff popping into your head, and it's probably memories and other things that are going on in their life, but you don't realise that is what you are picking up on. Happens all the time.
yeah.
It's like when you finish somebody's sentence for them as well. You'll say something and they'll say, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. You are tapping into their energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. You do some really other interesting stuff as well that I'd love to hear about. So you work with Royal Caribbean and do some shows. So yeah, tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, look, I'm an educator. I believe that we should all have access to this information. It's something that's been quite taboo for how many hundreds of thousands of years or whatever. It's taboo. And what I do is classified as me being a witch. Now, I love it now how everybody's so accepting of the woo-woo, and it's not really woo-woo, but let's just call it woo-woo for today's all intents purposes. And I love to pass on the knowledge here. It's taken me a number of years to absorb the energy that I have been working with and understand that it was not something that you could go and look up and go to a class. And now we have all these classes that we can go to and we can go and learn. And so I teach this. And I'm a co-founder of the Royal Caribbean Psychics at Sea as well, with another facilitator. So we take a bunch of people out to sea. While we're at sea, we teach them. Love it.
So you're teaching rather than... And the teaching you're doing, is that for people to almost tap into their intuition themselves, or they can go where they want with it?
I work with people from complete novice right up to people who are experienced too. I will mentor as well. But when we're at Royal Caribbean, we take a group out to sea, and we have the conference rooms on the ship. We conduct workshops while we are at sea, which is great. Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
They absolutely love it. So we've got our new cruise coming up next year, which I'm very excited about. But I also do shows. I am a platform medium. I will stand on stage like, John Edward, Tyler Henry, all of that. I will get up and I will do a couple of hours of mediumship reading up on stage while people sit there and watch, basically. But it's all good fun.
And how far do you travel with that? Because do you want to tell people where you're based or how they might find you? I will pop some links in the show notes.
Oh, thank you for that. I am based in Wollongong, an hour south of Sydney. However, I do travel quite extensively. Melbourne, Brisbane. I do cross the ditch a couple of times a year to Christchurch in New Zealand. I'm due back there at the end of August. I do shows there also and teach. But South Pacific as well, I'll go anywhere. Perth, I do get around.
How big is the world? Is it quite, how big is the world? How big is the psychic world? Is it something that you kind of get to know a lot of people within it and find your tribe quickly, or?
Yes. It's that age-old saying, the world is a village.
Yeah.
Same thing with our world also.
Yeah.
People know people. If they don't know you, they know of you, or somebody knows somebody who knows you. You know how it is.
Yeah, and I think when you're in where you're meant to be as well, I love that. Just
Yeah.
serendipitously things appearing and, getting those opportunities that align with you and
Signs, synchronicities. I love synchronicities. It's I'm encouraging people, please listen to anything that hops into your body, listen to your body is your compass. If something doesn't feel right, your body will irk up about it. If it will feel off, do not follow it through because you feel like you have to. I can't stress that enough. And synchronicities as well, and the signs that we're always getting. People, open your eyes and accept it all in, because the more you open your mind to it, the more you accept it, the more the universe will work with you as well.
Yeah. It's interesting what you say about how mainstream, this is becoming like psychic, mediumship, and all these things are becoming so much more mainstream. When you were talking about teaching people, I remembered a friend of mine's a really well-known author and business coach, and guy in his early 60s who maybe traditionally you might not think would be thinking about things like intuition, but I remember him saying that for a period of time he had an intuition coach, and he would plan his diary and always tried to look and plan his work and his diary around things that would make him smile. So there's that level of tuning in to the energy and stuff there, rather than the hustle, drive. How we were told, just work hard and you'll get somewhere. And whereas really what it seems like what's happened for you is you find that thing that's your genius, and yes, it's hard work, but it's fulfilling.
It is. It is very fulfilling. There are days where I am exhausted, but that's a given with any work that we do. But ultimately, this is what I say to people: listen to your body. If it doesn't want to move, if it doesn't want to work that day, honour it. It's I say to people also that more often than not, like maybe doing nothing is more productive than doing something.
Yeah.
It's learning to listen to the universe, learning to listen to your team, because they are there guiding you.
Yeah. That's such a thing, with burnout prevention and all of these things that are afflictions that we have now, people pushing through those physical signs and the little headaches and the pain and it's...
Well, this is really interesting when you're talking about burnout, because I work so many hours a week, and I had this discussion with my mother last week. Now, my mother is 80 next year, and she says, oh, well, when I was your, blah, 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 blah. And I said, Mum, you've got to remember, back in those days, you would finish work at 5 o'clock and you'd go home. And that was it. You had nothing coming into your field until
they
you got
didn't
to
have
work
the
the next
school
day.
WhatsApp group. They didn't have the 10 million kids sports. They didn't have the work emails.
We didn't have internet. We haven't got messages coming in on text, emails, messenger, all the other bits and pieces, email. We had nothing. We had a landline attached to a wall.
Yeah.
That was it. Nobody rang you.
Yeah. I think people don't understand the implications of all of the noise, and whether it's the AI or the notifications or it's just so important to keep coming into yourself and enter that different brain state and ask yourself the right questions and rest and all of those things that we've spoken about. It's
well,
amazing.
This is what I say to people also. You need to actually slot in somewhere time out for you to do something for you.
Yeah. And it just goes in as a non-negotiable.
That's it. It has to be a non-negotiable. It has to be.
I have people who ask me all the time in Cairns and externally, they go, how do you get everything done? And, you must never stop. My diary does not run on a constant go. I take a lot. The reason I can get everything done is because I take a lot of time to myself, and I spend a lot of time running around in the bush, literally trail running on my own, often with my own thoughts, and just entering that different space and getting clarity on things. And we all need to find our way of doing that. And
well, that's meditation. That is meditation.
yeah.
And again, with a lot of people, I'm sure, who listen to you, a lot of people don't really understand what meditation is either. It's not sitting there hours on end doing kumbaya. It's about being present.
Yeah.
And that can come from as simply as going for a walk around the block with unplugged.
Yeah.
You're running.
Yeah.
Swimming. Ironing is meditation too, believe it or not, because you're concentrating on the task at hand.
A good friend of mine sees it as meditation. I mean, I think it comes down to there's those tasks in the house that you don't mind doing. You know, like I don't mind doing the laundry, but I hate cooking, and so then I find it stressful. My husband loves cooking, so he cooks all the time. There's those little things that we can get into the zone with, and Lynda, I could talk to you all day, but I will finish with our closing question. And I will share all the links in the show notes so the listeners can go and find out a little bit more. But I'd love to hear, if there was no barriers, what's the legacy that you'd like to leave?
Legacy is trust in yourself. Do not listen to anybody else. Your body knows. Yourself knows. Your soul knows. Stand in your power. That's my big thing. Stand in your power. Know your worth.
I think that's how we can improve the collective consciousness, isn't it, of the world? If we spent just a little bit more time to pause and tune into ourselves. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see everyone else tomorrow for more from Endures.
Okay, thank you, lovely.